Chardonnay. Now, I'm just coming up. It's Saturday night. Thursday's Thanksgiving. I just have been wrapping my mind around it. Bought a turkey, pulling all that together, and I thought I want to show you guys my new toys. I'm super excited about some of the new stuff I got, and I thought I would try to do a Thanksgiving look. Now, as I mentioned last time, I think I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit for you guys. No one really has said anything, but I just feel like maybe I'll give it a try and see how it goes, and then if you guys could give me some feedback how you feel about it. This is something I really have realized I think I want to take more seriously. In my wedding counseling, they had a thing yesterday asking about, if money wasn't an object, what would we be doing with our lives? And I realized, like, this is something I'm obviously not making money doing, but something that I actually really value, and something that the same for a long time. It meant a lot to me when I learned how to eat and exercise and stuff when I lost 30 pounds. Teaching other people how to do that meant a lot to me because I realized how much your weight affects how you feel about yourself. And I think the same thing with makeup. This is just like an evolution for me. Now I feel a lot more pretty than I did before, even though I'm older and have more wrinkles and all this. Now that I've learned the tricks, I feel more pretty and it makes me feel more confident. And I just want to share that with everyone and have everyone feel like their most beautiful. It's not like you need makeup to feel beautiful, but it's just great when you feel like you have all of your best qualities are shining. I honestly wear makeup never. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. I'm not going out. I'm doing this just for you guys. But when I do wear it, I feel pretty, and I want to share that. So anyways, that's the sidebar. We'll get that out of the way. But I just wanted to say it's something I'm going to make an effort to try to take more seriously and to try to connect with some of the other people that are doing this. And that's a whole other story. But I first want to introduce you to my new favorite tools. So of all my brushes and stuff, these are probably the cheapest ones. It was $20 for this set of 4. They're Real Techniques brushes, which I'll have a link below. I got them just on Amazon, and I adore them. So as everyone knows, I've tried tons of things for foundation, and I still think different things probably give different coverage, but I've tried this stippling brush. It's a MAC stippling brush. I've tried a smaller stippling brush. I've done this beauty sponge. I have another version of a beauty sponge. I still have like your traditional foundation brush. I mean, I really have been trying for a long time to find something that I thought really worked with my skin, which is more or less, it's not bumpy. I don't have any like scarring or anything. I do for sure get zits and stuff, but my primary issues are coloring. So I have really dark circles and freckles and just splotches and stuff. So I want it to just go on really smooth. I don't need it to like fit in any divots or anything. And I have gone bananas for these Real Techniques brushes for several reasons. I don't want to turn this into a review 100% because I don't think enough people really watch my videos for anyone to care how I feel, but for the people that are watching, I totally want to recommend these. It's $20 for a set of 4. You'll see the uses you can get for all of them. This one, which is, I think they just call it, it's a buffing brush. This is what I've been using to buff in my foundation, and it just is awesome. So we'll use that. I also like this really tiny brush for getting into it's called a detailer brush, for getting in here and for getting like when I get hormonal, I get tons of zits on like the outside of my mouth. And so let me just try to get my face in here more. So I like this one because it's smaller and it doesn't, it's just more precise. This I love. Everyone already knows I got this Sigma brush, which I thought was the only tapered sort of blending brush. Apparently it's not. There's also this one, which is like a more round version, and I'm using them both for different things now. You'll see I've basically become a total freako. I just use a million brushes, but I have them, and it's like when I have a little extra leftover food on my plate, even if I'm not hungry, sometimes I eat it because I hate wasting. So I'm using tons of brushes. And the other thing that I wanted to use, which I haven't used at all, and I got this like several weeks ago, is the Coastal Scents 120 palette. This is essentially, there's a million versions of this, and I think they're more or less just rebranded. So the idea is a bunch of cheap, tiny little eyeshadows with really dramatic colors. Tons of different companies make it. I spent like 3 hours on the internet trying to figure out which one I wanted to get, and it's like a $15 purchase. So that was probably a waste of time. I could have paid myself money to not waste so much time researching and debating all of the merits of one and the other, but I ended up going with the Coastal Scents 120 because a lot of people recommend it, and I think it has basically every color you could ever dream of. I mean, they have lots bigger palettes too, but to me it's like a shade, a shade, a shade. Right now I'm just not needing much more, but I got it on Amazon also. It cost, I think, like $16 or something, maybe 13. I literally was debating about $3 or something. But I wanted to try it, so I'm gonna do a Thanksgiving, really warm fall kind of look. And in order to keep things going a little bit faster also, I have everything already out that I think I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna try to just do like one eye and then go to the other one. But the thing is, for me, as with lots of other things, I think it evolves. It's like a piece of art. You know, you have an idea of what you're going to do, but then something else happens and you have to just kind of go with it sometimes. So I don't always know like exactly what I want this eye to look like and then match this one. It's like I'm going back and forth. Also, look at how ridiculous. What is it? The light seems like it's so hard on my camera. I just need a nicer camera. Anyways, I've been wedding dress shopping this weekend. I got my wedding dress finally. I think I was freakishly inspired because I did this totally girly nail thing, which I never do. Also, maybe sometime I should do a video about how to do gel nails because I've been doing that for a couple years by myself. I think it's such a great way to keep your nails always looking shiny, always looking really professional, but it's cheap, easy, and it's actually kind of fun. Like, I have these little gems on here right now, and you can just spend some time, pop on some shitty, you know, TV, guilty pleasure TV, and do your nails, and it's good. Okay, so I should duly note to myself, for those who want to skip through, go to 8 minutes. Oh my god, that's terrible. I should make like chapters if I'm going to keep doing like this. Okay, so first and foremost, as always, and I've started putting all the stuff below. Basically what I'm doing is putting the names of the products I use here on the YouTube, and then having a link to my Pretty Broad, which is a podcast I do with another girl. And on the Pretty Broad, I have an actual link to every single product. So if you want to buy a product, you can just click on the name of it on my Pretty Broad, and it will take you to the site where I got it. It takes me forever, but I hope that it makes things easier for you guys. I spend a lot of time researching products, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So that was MAC Studio Fix Spray. Super standard. This is MAC Face Protect SPF 50. I love it. It is the only thing with SPF that does not smell like sunscreen. So it very well may not work. I always double up. I put on actual sunscreen too. There's no way this shit is as good as I think it is because it smells way too good. One of the things I love is talking to you guys while I'm doing it. So I'm really trying to figure out how to do this like being silent and speeding it up thing. But this is a really yellow kind of foundation, which I've used before. It's the L'Oreal True Match in Warm. Told you guys I was kind of branching out, trying to use some of the old drugstore brands. I just put a little bit on my hand. I actually just love this. I'm not 100% sure if it stays forever, but I just think it goes on really smooth. I like the way it feels. It's cheap. I just dig it. Okay, so using my Real Techniques, my new brush, that is a buffer brush. I just buff it in, and it is so crazy how lightly it just goes on such a thin layer and such a smooth layer. When I compare it to all the different things that I've used so far, it basically has all of the good qualities. Like, I love this beauty sponge, and I still use that for something else, and you'll see later, mostly for putting in liquid stuff under my eyes. But this just, it creates no streaks. It creates no buildup in, one area versus the other. The brushes are super soft, so it actually feels really good. I'm going kind of fast because I'm not sure about this whole speeding it up thing. I'm trying to just speed it up myself. But when you just are enjoying it and getting ready at your own pace, it just feels good. It's like a little mini facial. And I'm not actually going anywhere tonight, so I'm not going to take this as much down my neck as I probably should, but I think it's just kind of a waste of product. I'm doing this for my girls, which I had some girls over last week to do a little mini makeup tutorial, and basically I just did everyone's makeup, and I wish I would have given us more time, and of course we were drinking, so it got a little bit sloppy and kind of hard to get everything done by the end, but it was so fun. It was so fun to just a bunch of girls get together, and while you're doing makeup, you're talking other things, and it brings up other points, and it was a bunch of girls I really didn't know that well, and I think all of us tend to think we're not like girls or something, and I don't think that anymore, but I definitely used to, and so it was really fun, and I hope they enjoyed it too, and I would be so happy if anyone else, if you're interested, I'd be so happy to do your makeup for you if you would so desire, and just kind of coach you through your own makeup and what I have and what I think you need. Okay, so let's do a little concealer action. Because this is going to be kind of a dramatic eye look, I'm going to not fully do the under eye concealer and all that business. I'm just using this GloMinerals. That effing light is ridiculous. GloMinerals, it's just in natural, it's just a concealer. It's well loved and super old, so I'm just more or less trying to get rid of it at this point and just use it all up. So I'll just put a little bit of that, and since this light is not the best, I'll put a little thing right here so you can see it. So I just got done surfing the old Crimson wave last week, and when that happens, I tend to get these like hormonal zits around the outside of my face, and I wish I was the smart, intelligent type of person that didn't pick at them, but I do. I always want to pop my zits, I always want to pick at my face, and so the older I get, the more it tends to scar and leave lasting marks. So I've had to learn to start concealing them, unfortunately. And as I've talked about in other videos, you've got those hormonal color things several places. But really at the moment, I'm in the good part of my cycle, so it's not too many zits right now. It's great. So we want to seal this in, especially under the eyes, since we might have to wipe stuff away. It's easier to wipe away. Now here's the scenario where I'm going to take that Sigma brush I talked about. It's an F35. It's one of just a few brushes on the market that's tapered and meant for, powder and highlighter and stuff like that. I'm basically just putting this on under the eyes so that right now my face is kind of sticky and dewy, and if any fallout happens from my shadow, which it for sure will, it would stick to the wetness under my eyes. So we don't want that. And I'm just going to brush a little bit on the rest of the cheeks and stuff because they tend to get a little bit of fallout too. But not too much because I still haven't done the concealer. And I just don't want to put on a ton on most of my face. But this is going to set the foundation. And normally I would also put on highlighter, but I'm going to save that for the end too because I'm predicting fallout. Now, the powder I'm using is a MAC Blot powder loose in medium. So blot powder just, you know, as you can see from this light, which is what I use when I'm shooting for my normal job, it makes you look shiny. So this blot powder just is supposed to eliminate that, and I have it in like a pressed form also to use on the spot in the moment. All right, so let's get busy on some eyes, which is clearly the most fun part of this look. And I'm gonna bring you in a little bit. I wish I could just zoom you. Obviously, as I get more serious about this, and what I'm trying to do is get a nicer camera and get a better lighting setup, but at the moment it's just, I'm getting married in a year, which I want to practice a bunch of different wedding tutorials too and try to find the right look, but it's just not the right time for me to be buying expensive equipment and everything. And so it's like I'm hopefully building a foundation, and then later I can go back and fix things and do it better, and just building it right now. So I'm using Urban Decay's eyeshadow primer potion in Greed. This is one of my favorite colors for like a neutral, not a neutral, I'm sorry, like a warm toned look. It has kind of a gold base. So when I'm doing like Thanksgiving, winter, those kind of colors, I love this. I love it for a lot of other scenarios too, but the gold base is really, it's just, it doesn't stand out too much, but just enough. It just gives a little hint, but I am expecting to still have to use a pretty significant amount of eyeshadow. And unfortunately, the other thing I bought when I bought these, the Coastal Scents and the Real Techniques, I bought an NYX jumbo eye pencil, like a white one, which people use all the time. And basically when you put this on your eyelid, every color is like exactly the pigment that it's supposed to be. But I've just been a little hesitant to use it. It just seems clowny to me, but when I see other people use it, it looks awesome. So maybe in the next video I'll give it a try and see. In the meantime, I just like this grade. I think it's a nice, soft, subtle, and this is a Napoleon Perdue, just standard concealer brush, which I pretty much always use. A lot of people use their fingers for primer on your eyes. I do it sometimes. This is like a soft enough, and there's enough product on this that I don't feel like I need it. So what I'm going to do now is, this is a Sephora palette. It was on sale. I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but it was super funny because it was like $8 or something on Sephora on sale, and then I saw it like for $26 or something on Amazon. So I was like, ooh, smoking deal, I guess I got. But basically what I would say, if you're into MAC, the color is really similar to rice paper, what I'm going to use. And if you're not into MAC, what it basically is sort of a yellowy version of just a kind of neutral all over color. So if you can see, let me get away from that light. I think this doesn't really look like what it is. It's this one here. but it's not really looking true to color, so just use like a yellowy natural color. Yes, and it's fairly matte. There's one just kind of on the other side that's a little bit more sparkly, but anything with even a little bit of sparkle on my eyes shows up like crazy town sparkle city. I just have a lot of lid and a lot of just eye canvas in general, so things just tend to look really dramatic. And I'm using a Sigma brush I got it's a large fluff E50. It's basically just like a big fluffy brush. I use this to keep the product less dense for overall eye application. I was before using on all over my eyes things more like this, like a small flat brush, and it just created a lot of product in a situation where I'm just kind of more or less looking to cover up all my gigantic, ridiculous veins and stuff in my eyes. Okay, so here's when things are going to get a little bit more fun and spicy. So I was trying to imagine what would be a great Thanksgiving look. Obviously, we're thinking cranberries, greens, golds. So to start, I'm going to do just a really standard thing that I do a lot from a neutral palette. I'm just going to grab a crease transition color just to drop something for us to kind of kick off on. I do this almost every time. One of my new favorite colors from MAC is Texture. This one here, it's very neutral. It's got a little hint of gold in it. I love it. Also, I realized I have to go back and change my last video because one of them, I was wrong about what it is. So since this is a nice, easy, neutral color, I'm not being super careful really about how I'm putting it on. I'm doing like fully windshield wiper motions. And then after it goes in the crease, just bringing it a little bit up. Pretty much always, if you want it to look even semi-natural, it's always good to put a little teaser in the corner. But you're gonna cover it up with a bunch of other stuff, so it's not totally essential. I'm already kind of excited about how it's looking though. I like all these gold, really subtle gold hints. Okay. So I was looking for inspiration on Google, and I was surprised that I didn't see any one particular image where I was like, oh, that's amazing, I want to do that. I saw a couple. I saw this one with, oh my gosh, whatever the girl's name is from Twilight, and it was really burgundy, which I liked, but it was missing any other colors, and she also had a nude lip. Saw a bunch of really golds, a bunch of really bronzies, but I'm going to try to really pop in a lot of color, especially since we got that Coastal Scents palette. So we've got a nice, basic, easy transition. Now in here, this is an Urban Decay palette, which I basically bought just for this one kind of green color that I liked, but I haven't tried this gold yet. I have a ton of different kinds of gold from a ton of different shades. It's not really important. This one's called Deeper. It looks pretty dark for a gold, but basically I'm gonna take I feel like I'm like 13 years old, like my voice is cracking or something, but basically I'm gonna take a flat shader brush. I think this is a 239 shader, a flat brush. It may or may not be a shader, what do I know? But basically, I'm gonna put some product on, kind of make sure it's okay. And then in the inner corner, I'm just gonna pop this. Now we're probably gonna have to go up and cover this up with another gold at some point. And actually, usually I wouldn't start with this, I'd pop this in later. But it just happened to be, of all the things I pulled out, kind of on top. And I think this look is going to take a lot of layering anyways. Anything with a lot of colors takes a lot of blending and mixing. So popping in a layer now isn't going to change anything, and it's going to give us just a better idea where we're going anyways. I'm also going to use, while this brush is still clean, I'm going to pop it here just a little bit in the inner corner and underneath. I'm not doing it super precise. It's pretty loosey-goosey. And this is something I kind of like to do, is a little bit follow the way that your eyes look on the top with the bottom. Now, I really like this color so far. I think it's really cool. We'll set that aside. We'll, of course, need it a little more later. Now, what I want to do, I have so many burgundies, and this is where I was really trying to decide how to do it, but let's, I think we want to do our deepest burgundy and make that kind of like our smoke out on the corner. So I'm just going to take a copper, kind of up here a little bit, and focus it mostly on the outer edges. This is one that I've loved since I got it. It's a Charlotte Ronson. I got this on Sephora on sale. I think it was $9, $7, something well under 10 bucks. And her palettes and like a lot of her makeup is a little bit cheaper, and maybe I think a lot of people don't like it, but I have loved her stuff so far. I love the colors. I think the pigment is really solid. On this one, it's this like bronzy color that I think is really cool, and I don't really have anything. Problem is I have a lot of colors that look really similar. This bronzy color, whew, it is totally its own thing. So I'm going to pop this really bronzy orange color, but you know, be creative. Do whatever you feel like makes sense for you. I'm going to start in above the crease. And I'm just going to keep focusing it mostly on the outer edge. Every now and then I make like a sweep in just to keep it so the transition isn't totally crazy. But you see, I'm building it mostly on the outside. Yeah, I just think this is such a cool, like, harvesty autumn fall color. Do the same thing over here. Wow, yeah, like I might have to find something to do tonight, even though I don't want to. Or just wake up my fiance. He was out all night last night, so he had to go to bed early tonight. He was playing poker. And so he had to snooze early, but I might just have to wake him up and show him my Thanksgiving look, because on Thanksgiving I'm going to be cooking my face off. I'm going back to a MAC staple. This is called Sketch. It's one of the first 10 colors I had from MAC. It's like a deep kind of cranberry color. It's really good. I think it's what we need here. And I just keep going back to the 217. As we're building all this out, it's not a big deal to mix up some of the colors and have them connected. But again, we want to focus on the outside. And then work it in a little bit. Yeah. And take your time when you're blending it, you know? Don't just immediately go back in for more product because it's not quite where you want it yet. Just keep it all pushing together. Going back for more product is super easy. I've been trying to decide which of these colors we want to put back in on the bottom. And you know, you guys just sub colors. That's what I always do when I watch makeup tutorials. It's like you don't need the same color, just sub your own color. And then the coolest part is your look becomes entirely your own. And you figure out things and you develop it in your own way. And if you do that, if you do try any of these looks, like post a picture on my Facebook, or, you know, include me in your Instagram or whatever it is, so I can see. And of course, if you have looks or something that you're interested in that you would like to see me do, like, just let me know. I would be more than happy to do anything anyone's interested in. So then I'm going to try this one is called Fig. Now this one I have to be really careful with. So it's like a really purpley. Just gonna put this just a little bit right here in the most sort of colorful part. And we're just testing it kind of to see how that way more purpley blends in, how that works. I actually think it works really well. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And now we have to kind of build in a little more color here on the corners. And gosh, I'm just not 100% sold on this whole thing. I'm just gonna scoop one of the colors from this Sephora palette. It's like a deep brown with some like gold and bronzy in it. I'm just trying to add in a little something here on the outer edge. And I'm just keep going with the 217. I have a million brushes. We could be using a million brushes, but I think all the colors are similar enough and in enough of the same area that really if they're all blending on the brush, that's great and is actually going to help us make it blend easier and better. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Now, just to throw in at least a little flavor from our Coastal palette, just to do it, really, more than anything, I'm going to take another flat brush. This is so old, I have no idea what it is. It's probably like grocery store or something. It's synthetic. I'm going to take a... Oh, there's greens on here too. Okay. I'm going to take one of the deep greens. I'm going to go for this deep green. And I'm just going to, in the part where it needs a little more color in this corner here, just going to pop it in. So we're creating, you know, kind of a little smoky in the outer piece. But it's not smoky, it's Turkey Day. And when people look up close at your eyes, they're gonna be like, wowzers. You got a lot going on there, but like in a really artistic, pretty cool way. Or maybe that's just me, because I appreciate that. All right, so I think we need a little something more in the crease, maybe a little deeper color. So we'll try something from the Coastal Scents, and maybe we'll try a different brush. Let's do like a angled brush, and let's do this purple color. It's kind of a dark purple, but I'm not too crazy, and I'm just going to take that right here in the crease, both directions. So down and over. And you see, like, the foundation that we made is really helping the colors pop a lot. It always seems like a ton of steps, but then after you do it and you see how they all help. Otherwise, if you put this purple and this green, you're a total peacock. But with all these like oranges and all these other, you know, bronzies, piecing it all together, it's pretty sick. I'm going to take the 217 again and just blend. We're always blending. Blending. And you can see without even trying, the darkness just starts going in further and further. And we gotta decide, I would say for the bottom, so I'm just gonna take this really cheap Eco Tools, if I can find it. Yeah, so this is just like an angled pencil from Eco Tools, which is, you know, from the grocery store. I'm going to take that bronze from Charlotte Ronson and this really orangey bronzy color. I'm going to pop that underneath, in the middle mostly. And then on the very bottom, I'm going to toss in a black. It doesn't matter. This is a black from that Sephora palette that I just happen to have open, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to take the black and finish the bottom, do like a pseudo blend, and then kind of carry the line out. And this is why it's always so hard to do the same thing on both sides. Your hands want to do different things, and your eyes are shaped differently. So we're basically building a little black here on the edges, and then we're gonna blend that in. It's always nice to pull the illusion, you know, out farther, so it makes your eyes look wider, bigger, more almondy. Also, I just found this random color in this thing that's like a goldy green. Since we're just going bananas, I'm going to toss it in there, but it's totally not essential. I'm just like digging all this, mixing it all together. It really looks cool. It's my favorite part about makeup, when it's like, as it goes, you just start to feel what's next, what you wish would be next. And sometimes it doesn't come together great, I'll be honest, but when it does, it's really cool. So I actually think that we probably still need a little bit of black. It's kind of one of those things where you don't notice it, but it's important. So I'm gonna just take that angled brush that we used with the purple and tap on a little black in the corner. It's just gonna be something that you don't notice, but adds a lot of dimension, and it really ties things together. So for the extra transition color, I was thinking of using Bamboo, which is like a yellow, really pretty, really cool transition. But since I'm using this, Bamboo is MAC, by the way, but since I'm using this Sephora palette, I'm just going to keep going with it. I think this is a 224. Take the 224, and I'm just going to take a color which is yellowy, goldy, bronzy. Probably best to use a matte color. I'm using a bronzy, like not matte color, which is probably not the best choice. We already have plenty of shimmery stuff going on here, but you know what? I'm not going out anyways, and I kind of like this dramatic thing that's happening. So, you know, part of what I like to do with creating a transition at the end, even after you've done all this work, is it really cuts out any lines or harsh anythings that have developed because of the way you tend to hold your brush or anything else. Now, I'm just going to put a dollop of gold. I actually have like sparkles, glitter, and if I didn't want to wake Heath up, I would probably go in there and get it. But in the meantime, you can grab any gold kind of shadow. I have a zillion of them. I'm going to take this one, which I think my stepmom gave me from like an Arbonne palette. And I want to use that. Remember what we started with for the concealer? I think this little tiny brush will be perfect for this. So I'm going to spray it with, actually I don't have to, it's not glitter. I was thinking I was going to go for the glitter. Go for the gold. No, it's not glitter. My computer shuts off, but when it does that, I don't think you guys can see it. Only I see that everything stops. Okay. So again, this is an unnecessary step. Oh shit. The shadow's totally coming out. And that's something I had to do when I just got back from Napa with my mom and my grandma, is repot some shadows. If you guys are curious how to do that to save yourself from having to rebuy every time stuff breaks, happy to show you. Just let me know if you want to see it. Like, I noticed that I did that how to clean your brushes video and not that many people were interested. So it's like, if you're not interested, no problem. If you are, I'll show you. Looking so cool. Alright, so I'm gonna just blendy. It's all gonna look a lot more blendy anyways once we do liner. And had to talk to my sweetie there for a second. I brought out a bunch of different liners because I wasn't sure how the look was gonna go, but because it's such a really pretty kind of dramatic shadow, I don't want to take away from that. So we're going to tight line with a brown. You can do any brown. This is a MAC Coffee. And this is definitely something I was really working on, is trying to increase the number of liners in my kit. But it's like every crazy color eyeliner that I buy, I really never use. Like, I pretty much exclusively use black and then sometimes brown, and then everything else is like a rare once in a blue moon. So until I start, you know, doing people's makeup for more crazy cool fun things, my couple blues, couple greens, couple browns and golds and all that, I think will suffice. Now, I do have some really cool kind of bronzy goldy colors that came from a Smashbox kit that my stepmom gave me. Maybe I could try a couple of these, or we could just go with a more neutral brown. So this is like a kind of goldy greeny, and then this is a bronzy brownie. I think we should try the greeny since we popped that green in there. Let's just see. I think it will be more natural than the black or brown. And then we're going to have to line a little bit anyways because of the lashes. So we'll just see how it goes. I pulled out a gel liner thinking I would need it because of the lashes, but just trying to try something a little more spicy and exciting for yeah, I think that works pretty good. And actually, just due to the nature of the look, I'm going to grab a pencil brush. This is the 219 from MAC. And just smudge it in. And smudge it in on the bottom. Just going to help everything come together more fluidly. And I would like to try these lashes without doing a black liner, and then worst case scenario, we can go back and add one if we need to. I've been putting lashes on everyone, so I'm running out, and these are actually really dramatic, but they're called naturals. So these are Ardell natural hotties in black, and I ordered 4 of them, and other people's eyes, the people's eyes makeup that I've done recently, like, haven't been able to handle this kind of drama, and I noticed a lot of people are afraid of drama anyways, so I am going to give them a shot and see. Let's test them and make sure they're not too long. I very rarely have to cut them, but these ones seem a little bit long to me. No, I think we can do it. So, for those of you who have already seen me do my lashes a million times, you don't have to watch. Or maybe I should stop and just do it myself and do an eyelash video. I don't know. I feel like you can never ever get enough. Like, for me, I still like watching how people do their lashes. I still get like little hints and tips and tricks. Alright, so let's fix this eyelash really quick. I think this is kind of an important lesson. And if I remember, I will try to put that in the tags. Oh, we're going to need a drink for this. So I have this one pointed liner brush, which I was excited about, but it actually sucks. It's from Sigma. Just kidding, it's from Sephora. It's pointed eyeliner 17. It was on sale. It was super cheap. It sucks. I know why it was on sale. Also, I got this tanning lotion from there that was Sephora and was on sale, and also was the biggest waste ever. So you can't always be sure. So since I hate this brush, I'll just take some of the glue from my Duo lash adhesive. It's like dark liner glue, which I've explained a million times. And I just put it on where I want the lash to stick. You're not supposed to ever put it directly on your eyeball. I mean, on your skin of your eye, but this is the easiest way to do it when it's not working. And it really doesn't matter because you still take it off anyways. So now that that lash glue's there, I just pop it down and it sticks. Now, Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to not do a liner at all. I think this is a really pretty kind of natural version. So I'm going to try and see what a difference mascara makes and if it looks kind of bold and black and a little bit darker. I'm not going to do a liner. I think our shadow is cool enough. But while I wait for the lashes to be super dry, I never like to put mascara on until the lashes are super dry. Let's do some eyebrows. My grandma has like lost a lot of her eyebrows, and she let me kind of draw them in for her, and I was scared because I'm not used to that, but she let me draw them in for her this weekend, and she really appreciated it. And I told her, I'm like, you know, eyebrows are the frames for our eyes, which are the windows to our soul. So I think eyebrows are a lot more important than people give credit for. So I'm going to send her a little eyebrow kit, and hopefully she's bold enough to, I mean, she's bold, but hopefully she's bold enough in that sense to give it a shot. So I'm back to my Sigma eyebrow kit, which I found out was limited edition, but you can still buy the powder. This is medium brow powder. I want to have like a really strong arch in this one, so I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use both a flat brush that I have. This is the Flat Definer E15 from Sigma, and also the MAC 266. So I might try a couple different colors too, but for now I'm going to just use the dark side of this brow powder. You can use a million colors depending on your complexion. So I'm going to go above, a little bit above where I think the line should start, and take it a little bit farther than where I think it should end. And that's nothing unusual. That's pretty standard how you should do your eyebrows most of the time. But I was watching the Real Housewives of Miami reunion. I know, I'm embarrassed about it too. But they all have makeup artists and stuff, you know, so I was just checking out all their makeup and seeing, you know, what highlights people's best qualities and what makes a difference and not. And I was so shocked what a difference people's eyebrows made to me watching. I'm just going to pull out a neutral, and I'm going to just try something a little bit oranger and redder, which is, like, I think my natural color is a little bit more orangey and reddy. I don't even want to really, it's like, it's up to you. Just choose colors you want to use. But I'm going to use kind of a reddy brown, and I'm going to go for a really more dramatic look than I usually do, which is I'm going to take it from, I'm trying to go a little bit on the outside of where my brows go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. And then over here. Oh, it's so annoying how your brows are different, you know? It's so hard to, like, keep the same style when they're just shaped differently. And you don't notice unless you're doing makeup. That got a little outside the lines, I would say. I'm going to take a little bit of a lighter bronzy color and create a line right here at the bottom. And then push it up a little bit. I really like this. This is like a bold, unusual brow for me. Okay. Sorry, I can't tell if you guys can see what I'm doing. So I like put the color on the very bottom, and now I'm filling it in. Man, sidebar, Real Housewives of Miami reunion was pretty good. It actually made me mad. That doesn't happen very often. I was like, Joanna Krupa, I used to love you and I hate you now. So crazy how you see people's character after a certain amount of time. Like, the people that are always the most attractive to me at first tend to be, this is similar to Omega in the MAC collection, but I'm just filling them in a little more. But people who are most attractive to me at first tend to be the least attractive to me after a certain amount of time. Especially on shows like that where, you know, you don't get someone's full character right away. I don't know. I think sometimes I'm really attracted to people that are like really opinionated and really whatever, but then often they're like the people that are the biggest like selfish bitches. All right, so since we have tons of already different kinds of shimmer, I think we should use a matte highlight, and I'm gonna do that. And actually, even though I wanted a dramatic brow, instead of using my dark brow gel, I'm going to use the light one because I just think we have a lot of things going on and it's cool to have a different dynamic. And I think you guys know how that goes. Okay, so I thought about it for a second. This is why. This is why those type of people trick me, especially in the media. Because strength often comes off as weakness, and weakness as strength. So when you first see someone on a show and they seem so strong, you're like, oh my gosh, they're amazing and attractive. But then as everything unfolds, it tends to be that the people who, you know, need to come off the most like that are often the weakest and the easiest to hurt other people. And anyways, I usually don't have to have these philosophical discussions about Real Housewives, but I was kind of disappointed in myself. So I used L'Oreal foundation, and I'm going to use the L'Oreal highlighter. It's called Magic Lumi. It is in the color light/pale, which is also my skin tone. Just clicking it out, trying to see, okay, there it is. So I want some under my eyes, of course, but not to invade the beautiful space we've created of makeup. Actually, I really like this kind of ivory color. Not sure how it's all going to turn out, but you basically want to make a Halloween-esque. Oh God, don't get me started on Halloween. This big fight with everyone about Julianne Hughes' blackface costume, because I think everyone is just really, really excited to think that they are the moral majority when there's like all these really actually important things happening where people are really doing things that are intentionally racist and shitty, and then meanwhile we're just screaming about people who are not meaning to hurt anyone at all because we want to just feel like we have the moral high ground. So this is where I'm going to bring in that brush I talked about, this second Real Techniques brush. Contour brush is what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to use it to buff in. It has the same buffing capacity as the foundation buffing brush. It's just really smooth. It does a really, really solid job. And make sure we have no lines under our eyes. And then, and these are the small things that really, really make a difference, especially in photos and video. And I did my mom's makeup this weekend, and she was like, wow, especially about her under eyes. And the trick is just highlighter, concealer. The trick is your face is the easiest part to ignore all the steps and the most important. So the concealer that I dropped, that I tried to squeeze into this container, that is actually the L'Oreal, or the MAC Pro Longwear. Here it is. This is what it is. It's a glass case. This is NC20. It broke in a hotel. So I tried to put it in this moisturizer container and have it last as long as possible. It's definitely getting down to the nitty-gritty. So more than using highlighter for highlighter, you want to try to use concealer. So I don't know if you guys can tell because of the light, but this is significantly closer to my skin tone than the highlighter, but you want to put it in a lot of the same places. And especially if we're going to do cranberry lips, you want to put this concealer all around your lips. And anywhere you have blemishes, any like trouble spots. And you kind of rub it in with the brush. This is a 286. It's a goat bristle brush, but I just go right back in with this bad boy. The Real Techniques contour brush and just rub it all in. I think it's faster. And I think it buffs it all in nicely, and because of the way that it's contoured, I'm able to get it under my eyes, which I have been so long ruining all the work I do on my eye makeup under my eyes, like accidentally using a brush like this or like the goat bristle brush and just going in too far and not getting it right. But this brush, I'm telling you, you can just avoid all of that and it makes everything seem so smooth and look like you friggin' airbrushed your face. Oh yeah. Yes, I appear a little bit pasty right now, I understand. Also keep in mind the light is a little bit bananas. But just wait for it. We are almost done, but we need just trying to pack away some of this junk so I can see what I need next. Some bronzer and some contour. And that I have powder versions, and then I also have some liquid versions. Now, for this situation, I'm actually going to take this liquid version, even though I didn't expect to. I'm making a last-minute decision. This is Charlotte Ronson. I got it on Sephora. It was very cheap. It was on sale. It's very bronzy. And I'm just gonna pop this right here on the edge and right here in the temple. And I'm gonna take the same exact brush that I used for all the concealer and I'm gonna buff it in. I could also probably use that foundation brush and it would work awesome. And then with some of the excess, I'll just take it around the edges. And I think that gives a really kind of pretty natural base. For the key parts, which your key contour pieces are your cheekbones and your temples, but that doesn't mean you don't still need a little bit of color after you've colored your whole entire face in. So white, oh gosh, the skin makes such a difference though, and this is what people always skimp on, and I'm looking at my face and telling you it makes such a difference. So this is basically just a simple bronzer. It's a MAC bronzer. I don't know what it says on the back. It really doesn't matter. You could use a million different things, and it works the same. Find a bronzer you like that's a bronzer. So this was a contour, and there's a contour here, but try a bronzer. It's a light kind of goldy finish. So what I'm going to use with this is to blend that more bold contour, like blend it a little bit more into the interior of my face, make sure that the contour itself blends in a little bit more to the rest of the face, and just a tad here around the edges. It's like the same way that you blend your eyes. You want to blend your contour too. That seems pretty good. And then we want to do our nose. I'm going to use a powder contour color. This is a sculpting powder from, it's called Sculpt. It's from MAC. I'm just taking this on some cheap Eco Tools brush, putting it on, following my line from my eyebrow all the way down. Seems crazy, but it makes a difference. You can't believe it. Following this. This is like how we've been watching movie stars for our whole lives and thinking they're just so gorgeous. They're so perfect. Okay, yes, they definitely have plastic surgery. They definitely have tons of amazing skincare products. They have makeup artists and a lot of other things, but there's still things we can do. And these are things they use in the movies to create illusions. So to create the illusion of the super pointy, straight, flat nose, we use bronzer all the way down and here. I actually use sculpting powder on that. Then what I usually like to do is take some excess bronzer on. This literally was dirt cheap. It was like, it's falling apart already. A couple bucks on Amazon, but it's a angled contour brush. Sometimes I just do this to my nose a little bit so that the contouring powder part doesn't look too crazy. Then we do, I used to do blush then highlight. I've realized now highlight then blush. That's how I like to do it. So for the highlight, I'm going to take this True Colors, which is something I got in the mall forever ago. I wish I would have saved all the stuff I got. It was like a package, a kit that was awesome, and of course I didn't save it, but I would like to get it again. I think it's by Esty. I don't know. I'll probably get something like it similar now. So to keep on the front of trying to use up some of the same brushes, this is that Sigma soft brush. So I'm just going to put that where the top of my cheekbones should be, to give a nice gold highlight instead of your traditional highlight. But also my other favorite highlight color is Albatross by NARS. I just had to fix this one after my trip, and it's sort of perfect again. It broke. Got tricks, got mad tricks. Never hurts to toss a little highlight if you have dark under eye circles. Okay, I'm going to use this sort of bronzy gold color from MAC. I think it's called Sunkissed. It'll be below. I have recommended it to a lot of people. It's one of the ones that's pretty in the pan and on your face. So I a little bit try to get the apples. This is something I've fought against before because I learned to go from the outside in so you don't end up with a bunch of color right here on your cheek. But the truth is, when you're flush, that's where the color goes. So I actually think it's a nice place for the color to end up. And trying to decide if I want any more of that gold that I used for the highlight. Just doesn't seem bold enough. I'm gonna pop a little bit of this really bright kind of fuchsia right here. Just for a little something extra. Especially since at the end we do this. So this is a highlighter from MAC. I use one of two, either Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish, or it's called Luminescent or Luminescence or something like that. I'll also have that below, but this was from the Hayley Williams collection, which that's the one I'm going to use today. Oh, I know what it's called. Lightscapade Luminescence. It's a mineralized skin finish, and this one, I don't know. I just like, after all the stuff we've done, to just, maybe it's just my weird anal personality, but I just like to take something at the end and just put it everywhere, which I feel like pulls it all together a little bit. And for the final lip touch, this is called Morning Coffee by MAC. Can probably use I think it could use a little bit of maybe, no, I can do it still. This is why I should have probably sharpened it. The prettiest part of my mouth is the peak right here. And when I can't draw that with precision, it tends to just look really blah on my face. And something I've mentioned is trying to put a little bit filled in before you put anything else in the corners, leaving the middle part white. This is especially if you have small lips. And it can create a natural fade, basically by filling in most of it with a pencil before you put the color on. It will stay. And the color I've chosen isn't exactly a staying power color. It is a Burt's Bees called Coffee. I like these. I like the way they taste. They have a little minty flavor. They don't last for a super long time, but they also have the elements of chapstick, so sometimes I just like them and they go away. I feel like this one's old because it feels super thick. feel like it felt old when I got it, but it's definitely old now. Yep. I'm not sure if I have a gloss that would go good with this, but to be honest with you, I think I could use a little gloss. So let me pull them out. Yes. Perfect. Here's one that has a little bit of gold fleck in it. It's called Soft Serenade. It's a lip gloss from MAC. Yeah. That definitely makes a difference. So my hair is undone, which I think always makes the look seem a little bit less finished, but here's the eye. Lips. Here's the crazy natural lashes. You just look down. I think they look super cool, and it's still like natural and pretty. It's not totally crazy and too dramatic. Like you could go to your parents' house and still feel normal and pretty and cute. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, you know, I'd love for you to subscribe, but if you don't, okay, like it, or at least just let me know what you want, what you prefer, how you'd like the videos to go, what I could add, what you're interested in. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Aunty Chardonnay. On Twitter, it's at Aunty Chardonnay. On Facebook, I have 2 Facebooks, but there's an Aunty.Chardonnay Facebook. And if you want to see all of the links where you can get all of the products that I used, you can go to my podcast website with Christy Arnett, which is prettybroad.com. We talk about all kinds of stuff. It's just totally open. So also, if you have an interesting topic for our show or something you've seen, just hit us up, and you can always email me, AuntyChardonnay at prettybroad.com or AuntyChardonnay at gmail.com.